Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to learn about objects in JavaScript. So in this video we will learn about what is object and what are the methods for accessing its keys and values, how to create an object and how to copy an object, and some of the important objects method along with some common interview problems. And we are going to share like almost 10 practice questions so that you can practice objects and you can understand what types of questions will be asked in the interview. So let's get started with the very first thing, that what is objects in JavaScript or what is objects in real life. So let's understand with a like real life example. So objects are real life instances. So we can say, let's say I am okay. So I am a person. Okay. So we can say I am a person and I have few properties and few methods. So in the very first class of array, I asked some of you that what is the difference between the properties and methods. Okay. So let's say I am a person. I have few properties. My name will be Vishal. My age will be 21. My profession will be front end development. Okay, so this is my property, but along with some of the property there will be some method, something that I can work, like I can walk, I can talk, I can code. So these are the methods that I can perform. Okay, so these are the methods and these are the properties. So let's create our first object. For creating the object we are writing codes, and then we write the variable name, let's say person, and then use this curly bracket, and for array we use the square bracket, for objects we use the curly bracket, and now we write the property name, let's say name, and then we write its value. So here, in this object, if you see, this name will be the key, and this will be the value of the name. Okay, so let me write few more properties, that let's say age 21. Now if you see this key can only be the string. Okay, age, name, we can write it in this way or we can write it in this way. Even if we don't write in the double quotes, it will be considered as a string. But in the value can be anything. It can be string, it can be number, it can be like I can write is educator. Yes, I am an educator too. So it can be a boolean or it can be like skills, I would say skills. And I can add a few array here. So I can say I know the C++, JavaScript, and like we can add more, lot more thing, but for now let's have this only. So you see, we can add the array, and let's have one more example. Let's say the projects. Okay, so I have few projects which can be the object. So there can be the object inside the object. Let's say I'm saying the project name is front end fix, which is like front end development project. Okay, and yeah, and why is this error? The error is because after every key value pair you have to separate the key value with this comma. So here you have to put the comma. So for all key value pair you have to separate by the comma. This is how you have to create the person. But these are the properties, all of these are the properties. Key can be only it can be only the string, but its property, like its value, can be any of the data types. Okay, so this is what the properties. I hope you understand. Now we will understand the method. So let's create a one method. Let's say I can code. Okay, so I will write a code method. Whenever I run this method I will start coding. Okay, so this is a function, and this function will say like this function will return start coding. Okay, like that. So you have to put the comma. So this is a simple object. Okay, and we can write loads more function. This is the anonymous function. We can write it in the let me show another. We can use the arrow functions too. Here we can use the arrow functions too. And now you have to think about it, like when to use the array function and when to use the normal function. And here comes the our one of the most asked interview question. What is the difference between the normal function and the arrow function? So if you are someone who know about this concept, or if you know about the hosting, then you can answer this. Otherwise you will feel like that normal function and the arrow function are same, but no, it's not. So I can say walk, and here I will say start walking. Cool. So this is a simple object that we have created which have multiple values and multiple methods. So now how to access these key values pair. So let's understand how to access. So there are two ways to access. Yes, yes, it should also be string. So one more thing that I want to say, but let me just show you how to write the access, then I will show how to do that. So first of all, how to access this value. So I will say log, and here I will write person. First of all, you have to write the object name, that is a person. After that you have to press dot, and here you can see these are the properties. Okay, these are the properties. So I am saying age, let's say age, so I can find the age. So my age is 21. Cool. So similarly, if you want to find my name, person dot name. Okay, this is the one of the method. So this method is known as like using dot operator. Okay, second way of accessing the object is using square bracket. Okay, bracket. So how to access? You have to write similarly. You just have to write a person dot square bracket name. Okay, but here you can't write the name because name is not defined. You can read the this error. So you have to make it string. Cool. So this string name is the key. You can skip double quotes in the key in the object, but you can't like omit this double quote here. Okay, you have to put double quotes here. So this is how to access. Now here you can see this string can be of like single letter only, but let's say if I want to write this front end fix. Okay, similarly if I want to write here last name, if I want to make a key with last name, so I can't make it something like that. Okay, I can't make it something like that. I have to make it in a single string. Okay, so if that's the case, so in that case I can't access using dot operator. So let's say rather than using that, if I try to do last name, so you see if I just press enter, it do like that. So I can't do something like that. Okay, so if this is the case, in that case you have to access the element using the square bracket only. Cool, understand? Extension, I have talked in the almost every session that this is the QCA extension that I am using. Okay, so yeah, there are lots of questions right now. Okay, I will discuss that. But one more thing that I want to ask, this is how you see the what you known as, this you see the properties. Now similarly you can access the person dot call and dot code, and if I log this because I am returning console dot log. Cool. So start coding. So this is how you have to call the objects method. Cool. um, okay, you are answering the objects and normal function and arrow function answer. Okay, cool. So yeah, now how to add delete and update key. Okay, how to add delete and update keys. So how to add it? So first of all, before adding, updating or deleting key, the first thing that you should know, is the key present in the object or not. And this question was asked by loads of interviewer, like from me, I guess I have answered this question in almost tens of interview. Okay, so this is most important. So there are several ways, but the very first way is you can say um, console.log, and here you will write the object name person. After you have to write dot, and you have to use the method has on property, has on property. So this method, in this method you have to pass the key that you want to find in the object. Let's say if I find a name is there or not. Okay, name is there or not. So this name key is present in this object, so it will return true. Name key is present in this object, so it will return true. Let's say if I write something like last name. Okay, or last name, so it's not present, so it will return the false. So this is how to find, how to find key in the object. Okay, so this is the first thing. Now let's discuss the next task, that is how to add, delete and update key. So first of all, for updating you can simply change your name. You can say person dot name and you have to write the new value. So new value can be let's say, do we have Sujit right now? No. So let's change it to Vivek. Okay, so we can change it. So if I console it here with person, so you can see okay, so person dot name simply, okay, person dot name. So here you can say it changed to Vivek. Cool. So this is how to update it. You just write the key and its updated value, key with its updated value. Similarly, if you want to add new value, so you can add, so person dot let's say location. Okay, and my location is New Delhi, so I can add. And now if I see the value, here you can see this location will be added at the end. So location will be New Delhi. Cool. So this is how to add. And final thing, if you have to delete the property, so that you have to use the delete operator. So here you write delete and after that you write person, and let's say you want to delete dot projects. Okay, let's delete it. So if you see now projects is no more there. Code, walk, and before that skills के after skills there should be project, but it's not there. After skills this project section is got deleted. Cool. This is how to delete it. So these are the basic operation that you have to perform: find the key, add the key, delete the key, update the key. So these are the very basic operation that you have to perform. Cool. Okay, yeah, well done. So, in the array method, when we are learning about the array, I talk about what is the shallow copy and the deep copy. Okay, so now let's see how to do a shallow copy and deep copy of an object, and that is the also that is the exact question that asked in the interviews too. So extension बताया ना? This is the extension QK extension. I talk about the extension. Okay. So now let's see the shallow and the deep copy. So there are many ways to do a deep copy. Okay, but here we are going to discuss very basic how to do. Okay, so the very first thing, let's say I'm going to create person two. Okay, that is the person. Now if I just console.log my person, so this person will be have the same value with the person two. Cool. The educator is true, skills is the same, every single thing is same. And let me just write in this way, person 2 and enter. I am writing person. Cool. So you can see the all the values are same, but this is the shallow copy. So in the shallow copy what happens is, not only they copy the value, but they just share the same memory, they just reference to the same object, you can say. So if I will do person 2 dot um, any location, yeah, person 2 dot is educator equals to false. Okay, so I have made it this person 2 is educator false, but it's changed my persons too. So you see, it's changed my person too, but it's also changed person. So here you can see in the person is educator become false, is educator become false, because this person 2 and person, both of these objects are pointing to the same memory. Okay, now this is known as shallow copy. So this is what known as shallow copy. Now let's learn about how to do a deep copy. So in deep copy what happened is, we created like entire new object which have the different reference, a different memory, and everything will be different. So how to do that? It's very simple. You just have to write const, let's say person 3, and here I will use object dot assign method. Okay, object dot assign method, like, and here I have to pass the target array. This is my target object. Okay, and then I have to point my source. So source will be person. Cool. So if I just hover over this assign, you can find out there are lots of things, but okay. So what it do is it will copy entire value of this person, entire properties and values into this object, and this object will be returned and stored in the person 3. So if I just write the person 3 here, person 3, so here you can see it's have the same values as the person. So if I write here person, if I enter and write the person, so these have the same values. But if I now if I change the person 3 value, let's say person 3 dot skills, and I will say null. Okay, I have to take the equal. So if I make skills null, that person 3 don't have any skills. So you see, person 3 skills become null, but person 1 skills is C++, JavaScript and React.js. Cool. This is the deep copy. This is the deep copy. And if I have to show the reference with what is shallow copy and meme copy with the memory. So here if you see, let's say this is our memory. Good. This is our memory, and this is our like call stack. Okay, this is our call stack, and I have already thought about what this call stack store. So this store all the variables and all the function call, and this is the memory. Cool. And this object and this non like primitive data types will store in the heap. So what happen if I read this person? Let's say this is the person, that is the variable person, and this person create an object. So here will be the object created which have the name, age and lots of other properties. Cool. And this person variable will points to this object. Now as this persons 2 will be created, so this persons 2 will be created, person 2, and this persons 2 will also points to the same memory. Understand? Now if I change anything to the persons 2, that will be changed in the person. So this is known as um, shallow copy. Shallow copy. Cool. And now what is this deep copy? So in this copy, what we do here, we have the person, we have the person, we have the memory, and inside that memory we have the like this is the object. Okay, this person is pointing. Now for the person 3, for the person 3, what is do? First of all, it's take an empty array, it's create the empty array, empty object, sorry, empty object, and after this empty object, it's put all its values to here. Okay, like it's copy all the value, it's copy all the values, so whatever the values is here will be here, and now finally it's returns to person 3. So finally this person 3 will point to this. Cool. So this is how like deep copy and shallow copy work, and to be very honest, this question will be asked. So if you are preparing for front end interview, this question will be asked in lots of time. So you have to take care of that. So yeah, we can remove this bit. Okay. So I hope you understand the shallow copy and the deep copy. Now now let's understand few of the methods, few of the important methods of objects. So few of the objects methods. Okay, so how to find the object method in the like in this string? How do I create the method? So if I write the object and press dot, and here I can find there are lots of method. We discuss the assign, bind, call, and bind and call are we discuss like we will discuss bind and call in the polyfill class. Okay, then let's see. Okay, so there are the known as freeze. Okay, freeze. So let's create a, this is also interview problem, difference between freeze and seal method of object. Okay, so here what is this freeze method? If I write object, see this is the object, not the object name, this is the object. Okay, JavaScript object, and here I will write the freeze. Wait, it will be freeze, and inside this freeze I have to pass the reference of object. So how to pass? Just write the reference name like object name. So I have passed the object reference to this object which will freeze this object. So what does it mean? Okay, so basically it means that this function, this freeze function will freeze my object. So what does it like freeze means? Now you can't add new keys, you can't delete the new keys, you can't update the keys. Okay, so let me show you what does what do I mean. So if I write the log, okay, by the way these are like loads of things. Let's keep it this only. Okay, let's comment it out for now, so that we can see the. So here if I write the person, okay, just log, let me log it. So if I write the person, you can see we have the name, age educated, and this properties. Now let me try to update the key. Let me try person dot name and person dot age again to the Vishal. Cool. And let me just console and log and see if it is working or not. See, it doesn't work. Okay, I tries to update the person value but it doesn't work. So okay, let's try to add a new key, person dot xyz anything. Okay, and that will be, let's say, any value, because it will not gonna update now. So see, you can't add the new, let's say delete, let's delete let's say delete person dot age. It doesn't work. Cool. So this is how you freeze an object. After applying the freeze method, you can't change anything. But if there is similar one method known as seal method. Okay, object. But before going to object.seal, I want to talk about one more method, which is let's say um, in some point of your programming file you have freeze your object. So how to find your object is frozen or not? Okay, for that we have another function. We have another function which is person dot is frozen. Wait, we have to write object dot is frozen. Okay, is frozen, and here we have to pass a reference of the object we want to check. So see, this object is frozen, you can't update. Cool. So before updating you should definitely check that is like object is frozen or not. Cool. So now if I just comment this line, you see this become false. So this is how to check if your project, like if your object is frozen or not. So now similarly we have one more method, object dot seal. Cool. So here if I mark it person, so first of all, just to show how this person works, first of all I have to comment this. Okay, so now what this seal function will do, using the seal method you can't add the new key, you can't delete the key, but you can update the key. Here I can say in freeze method you can't add, delete, and update key values. Cool. And here what we can say, we can say seal method you can't add or delete keys, but can update key values. Cool. So let's try to find out. If I write the person here and then if I press enter, and if I do like person dot name to Vishal, let's see now if work or not. Okay, let's change this to something else. Okay, this, and let's write the person. So the name changes. Cool. But if I try to add a new, let's do this. Okay, and let's comment it here. So you see, I tries to add this new key but it does not add, and if I tries to delete the age, it doesn't delete it, but the value is updated. Cool. Understand the difference between the seal and the froze? Similarly we have one more method to check is our object is sealed or not. Okay, so for that you can use log, and in the log you will write again object dot is sealed, and write the person, and it's the true and false. So this is the important method, one of the important method of object. Cool. Yeah. Understand? Understand? Somebody say by using object dot assign, there is create shallow copy. Yeah, yeah. So somebody asked me, like, let's say if we have the person, let me show you. Vivek question is this, assign, create, assign also, this assign method also create um, shallow copy of shallow copy of what, nested object. Yes, it is. Yes, it's true. Cool. So if you have the nested object, then this assign method will do the shallow copy. So for that, what we can do, we can use clean deep. There is like clone deep method of lodas, but I don't want to install another library to do that. But I can say there is another method. There is lodas method to do that. Okay, to fix that problem, we can use the lodas method of clone deep. But yeah, that's good. Um, okay, so now let's see how many questions I have solved as of now. Like, I have few questions. So how to check if an object have a specific property? Solved. How to copy the properties? Done. Difference between fields and fields? Done. Iterates to the properties. Okay, so let's see iterates. So loop through, but before going to loop through, I have to complete this objects method. So now we have few more object method: keys, values, and entries. Key, values, and entries. Cool. So it's very simple. As the name suggests, it return the keys, values, and the entries of the object. So if I say object dot keys, so and if I write the object name person, so it will return all the keys of that object. So name, age educator, location are the keys of my object. Cool. So this objects dot keys return simply the keys. Similarly, we have the values method which will return the values of this. So the values of name will be Vishal, age 21, his educator false, location New Delhi. So this is how it's written. Then we have the like most of the time you will use either keys, like almost 60-70% of time you will use this keys method. 25% time you will use the values method, but this method like you hardly use. But let me write it. So entries, in this method it will create an array of array. Okay, so this first array will be the key with its value. So array first element will be the key, second element will be the its value, and then we have the lots of key value pair. Okay, cool. Key values and entries. Now let's understand how to through loop through an object. So there is the very first method is for in method. So here we say for let key in object. So you have to write the object name person, and finally write log, and in the log you will write key. So this is a name, age, like that. And if you want to write its values too, so you can say um, you can write like that. Okay, object like person with its value key. Cool. And if you have to remove this space, so you can add the plus. This will concatenate this too. So name Vishal is this. So this is how you can loop it. And there is one more method to loop over the object, that is you can use for each method, but for each method works on the array. So what we can do, we can convert these keys into the array. So how to do that, we have already understand. So we will write object dot keys, and if I write the person, now this will be the array, this will be the array of this for each. Okay, so now if I write the for each, and inside that for each I can write a callback function which will return the keys, right, key, which will return the key, and here I will, this will be my key. Cool. So rather than writing in this way, I can say console.log key. Cool. So this is how you loop through an object, and I think we understand the deep copy. Now how to check if two objects are same? Like this is also the interview question. Okay, I somebody asked these questions to me only. So let's say you have object one, person one, and person two. Person two. How to check these objects are same or not? Okay, for that we can use several methods. The first method is you can see if their values are equal or not. Okay, if their values are equal or not. And second thing, you can use the function console.log, and here you write um, object dot um, person one and person two. Cool. So if person and persons two are equal, that's returns to true. But if they are not equal, then it's return the false. So here person and person three are not equal, so it will return the false. Cool. Understand? And you can use the like key values pair concepts too. Like you can say for let key in object one, key in person, and if person key is not equal to person three key, then return false. Otherwise, like except like we can say console.log false and break. Let's say return false. Okay, so return false. Otherwise you have to, let me just do one more thing. Let's make if flag equals to false, and let me create is let is flag equals to true. So even after like, if after looping all these keys, if my flag is true, that means if flag is true, then I can say it is same. Okay, I can console.log they are same, they are same. Otherwise I can say they are not same. Cool. So we can use these methods too. We can use this kind of methods too to check if they have the same video, like if they have the same key values pair or not. Cool. Now how to dynamically access object properties? How to dynamically? I'm using the this, okay, square bracket. So we are deleting, we are adding, we are updating using the square bracket. Cool. Or the dot bracket too we can do. How to remove a property from an object? We all already solved. Now explain the concept of prototypes and inheritance. Okay. So this is like the prototypes and inheritance, like they are the separate topics, but here in this video we will discuss only like in terms of JavaScript object. But if you want, like I should make a separate video on prototypes, inheritance, how this works, so I can make this video too. So let's do one thing before jumping to the prototypes and the inheritance, which will be like quite advanced. We first of all, let's try to solve a very basic question. Cool. So question one. Question one. Count all player count. Okay. Uh, Find the all player count. So let me show what's the question. So here you see we have the data. This data is the object, and it can be infinitely nested. It can be infinitely nested. So you can see it is an object. Inside that object we have the first ID, then we have the name. Name is the array of player 1, players 2, player 4. Then we have the nest. Okay, and this nest will have the same kind of object, id2, name, which will be the array, and then the nest. Okay, and this nest will be like, again it will go like that until it find the nest is null. Cool. It can be infinitely nested. Now what's your question is, your question is find the count of all players. So if I count how many times this p1 occurs, so p1 occurs 1, 2. Okay, so I will create some like something like p1 occurs 2 times, and then I have to count for the p4. So p4 1, 2, 3, I guess 3 times. Okay, So we have to do this. P3, P3 is 1, 2, 3, I guess. Okay, and then we have a P1. Okay, then we have a P2. So P2 1 and 2. Similarly, P5 and P5 will be 1 time, 2 times, 2 times. Okay, good. So this is what we have to do. How to do? So if you are someone who haven't watched my last video on recursion, okay, we have discussed about what is recursion in JavaScript, how to solve recursion problem. So in this video, we are going to learn more about the recursion. So let me show how we will do. So this is the data, this is the data, this is the data. And if you see one thing here, this data is same, kind of same. This data has this data has three kind of property. First is id, okay, and then it have the name, which is the array. This name is array, this is simple number, okay, number xyz, let's see. Then we have the nest, and this nest can be, it nest can have two kind of value. Either it will be null, either it will be null, or it will be, object, okay, or it will be object. So we can indicate object in terms of this. Okay, so what we have to do, what we are trying to do here, so we are going to start a loop kind of thing here. Okay, let's think in the case of loop. In the case of loop, so what we are planning to do, we will take a count variable. How should take a count variable, because count of p1, p5, p3, everything will be different. Okay, so we can't store it in a single count variable. We can't store in a single count variable. If the question is something like find the count of player p3, so we can use the single count variable. But here we have to find the count of all player. So how should we store that? For that we can either use anything which store a kind of collection. So either we can use the array or object. But in this array, you see, in this array, it is zero index, so we can't find the key. Right now it is p1, p4, but it can be something like Vishal. Okay, it can be something like this only. Okay, Sujit, Vivek, it can be like that also. Okay, so we can't use array here, so we are going to use the object. So what we will do, we will iterating from here, starting iterating, and we will see we have the name. So we will increase the count of p1. So initially if p1 is not there, that means p1 is 0. So we will make p1 1. Okay, now we will find p4, we will make p4 1. We will check if nest is null. If nest is null, break the loop, or what you can do, iterate, again iterate, see the p3 and do the count. Now if you are solving this kind of question using iteration, it will be lot and lot of headache. Okay, so what we are planning to do, rather than solving using loop, we are going to use it using the recursion. So let me just write a code and explain it what I am writing, and after that I will reiterate like the working, how it's work. Okay, so what I'm planning to do here is, I will say um, const count player. Okay, or const count player, and here I am going to like call a function which is the player count, which have the data. Okay, which have the data. So now let's create this. So let's create const player count, which will going to take the data. Okay, now what I'm planning to do, so this data object will be like this: data, id, then name array, and then object like nest. So what I will do, I will say count the like count this. Okay, you can count the from the like in this array, and this can be count by another function. This function will count this. So whatever the count coming from this function, add this count and return the merge. Okay, this is what I am planning to do. So how to do that? I am saying, let's say if this is not data, if this is not data, we have, if this is like that, okay, rather than this we have const data equals to null. If our data is null, okay, this is our base case. If our data is null, so what will the count of all player? It's empty object, okay, because there is no player, so there will be no count. So what we are going here, we will say okay, so what we will do here, we will say if our data is null, okay, if our data is null, you can return the empty, that there is no player, so there will be no count. Okay, otherwise what we will do, we will count let count, okay, and that will be empty object, and this will count the current like count of current name array. So how to do that? You can say for let player, let player from data, not from, it will be in, let player in data, and we are going to say count is equals to, we will say player of data, like, sorry, we will say data of player, sorry. So what we have to do, wait, so here we have to do for let x of data dot name, okay, because this data dot name will be the array, okay, and now we have to do of count of x, count of x will be count of x plus 1. We can do that, yeah. So count of x will be count of x plus this. So you can use the better name like player, and you can say count player count, something like count players, okay, and use some better name. But what will happen if this is undefined initially? If I do count players dot p1, so it will be undefined. So if it is undefined, in that case what you can do, if it is undefined, then make it 0. Okay, so I am using this or operator. Now um, after doing that, what I am gonna do, I will say const next player count, next player count equals to my player count with data dot next. Okay, so I am assuming, so uh, what is the first step of recursion? You have to trust your function. I am trusting that I have find the count of this array, okay, and my player count dot next will find the count of this, because this have the same structure as this. Okay, now if I have find the next player count, so what I am gonna do, I will merge it in the my current player. So I will say for let key um, let key in your next player count, what you have to do, your key equals to your um, count player key plus next player key, and finally I will return it. Finally I will just give me 5 like 2-3 minutes, and I will explain every single thing. Okay, and if you are able to solve this question, then you can solve almost all kind of objects question that will be asked in the interview. Okay, so it's say what is this layer, so let's make it clear, and let's console.log count player. So it's saying nan, so let's find why it's so. See that if I tries to find console.log here, our count player. So it will return in the first phase, it will return P1 1, P4 1, cool. In the second phase it will return P3 1, so P3 is 1, yes. Then it will return P3 1, P4 1 and P5 1, okay, this is also good. Finally, yeah, this is good. So from here, okay, so why the problem is here, see, it can be undefined, okay, it can be undefined. So undefined plus some number will be none. So we have to use the condition here that it, if it is undefined, make it 0, cool. How is it? How's that? Now let me show you with the let's make it here like that. Okay, kind of this. Huh. Now I am explaining again. See, we have. Let me create the this data. Let me create the data. So we have the data that will be first of all it will have a name P1 comma P4. Then it will have a P3. Then it will have a P3, P4, P5. Then it will have a P1, P2, P4, and finally it have um, like P2, P3, P5. Okay, what was that? P2, P3, P5. See how this function work. How this function work. So first of all, I call the data. I call it with the data. That data will go here. That like player count, player count, player count with ID. Let's say 1. ID is 1. Okay. This data ID is 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. Okay. And 5 next is null. So now what this P1 will do, this is our object, like this is our answer. So we have a, not, we don't write it like that. First we will see this is the ID. We will see is data is null. No, data have the ID, data have the name, data have the nest. So it is not null. So we will come here. We will make our count player equals to empty object. So this is our count player, which will become our empty object. Okay, empty object. Now it will say player of data dot name. So this is data dot name. This too. Now what we'll do, count player's data name. Okay, so this is the key. Key is the player. Player is P1. So P1 is the key with have like count player. It is undefined. So I am taking or 0. So 0 plus 1. So P1 become 1. Now P4 also become 1. P4 also become 0 plus 1 1. This is my count player. This is my count player. So here I am writing the count player will be P1 1, P1 1 and P4 1. Okay. Now this function will call player count with ID. Let me write in short. Player count with ID data dot nest, that will be 2. Again this function will come and see data is null. No, it will again create a new count pair. So this will be changed. This will be changed. This will be changed. Okay. This will be changed. Now what this function do? This will create P3 count 1. Okay, and then again it will call PC3. PC3. Again remember this have the count player P3 with 1. P3 with 1. Now again this will come here P this. So again new count player will be there. So we have P3 with value 1 and P4 with value 1. Okay, and again it will call to P4 4. Before calling it store the value P3 is 1 and P4 is 1. Okay, p3 is 1, p4 is 1. Now from this p4 is that, so it will make p1 p is to p4 again. So here I am writing here, so it will store the value p1 1, p is to 1, and p4 1. Okay, and this will call finally p5, like player count 5, and this will return like this will not return, it's store the value p2 1, p3 1, and p5 1. Now finally this will not call, and like it will call p null because nest is null, so it will call null, and this null will return empty. So it will return the empty, it's return the empty object. Now if you merge p2 1, p3 1, p5 1 with empty, it's remain same, so this will return this. So this p2 p3 p5 1 will be added here, so this p1 will become p1 will become p1 only, p2 becomes 2, p2 becomes 2, and here edit p3. So I am writing here, okay, this become very like that. So let me just remove few things, let me just remove it. Okay, let me just remove it. Yeah, so what this p4, p4 was p1 was 1, p2 was 1, p4 was 1, and this p5 return p2 1, so this p2 will becomes 2, p3 1, so p3 will be 1, p5 1, so this p5 will be 1. Cool. Now this will return, so as this return, so this is the p3 1, this will be added here, so p3 1 will becomes 2, p4 1 becomes 2. Okay, and it's also written, if written this object, then this will make p1 as 1, so this p3 will become 3. So as of now everything will be returned here, you can see everything will be returned, and we have the updated value will be 2 2 3 1. Now finally we have p1 1 and p4 1, so this will becomes 2, and p4 become, this is p4. Okay, so this was p3, p4, this will also become 3. So this is the final value which is written 2 2 2 2 3 3 1. Cool, cool, super logic part. Okay, I think it's understandable. So if I see the value, it's become here. So first p1 will be 2, p2 will be 2, and p4 p3 will be 3 3. Cool. And p5 is like, I maybe did list mistake, but p5 will also 2. Cool. Understand this problem, this was very good problem, this is a good problem. Okay, okay, so it's already 9 p.m. 9 p.m. So I would love to discuss about the object prototypes. So let's do one thing because I want to discuss one very interesting problem. So first of all let's discuss this, then we are going to discuss about the prototypes too. Okay, so let's discuss this problem. This is very interesting problem and it's asked by lots of companies. Just see, it's asked by how many companies. Okay, so it is asked by lots of companies, so let's solve this question, and after that we will solve about the prototypes and inheritance too. Or if I like if we didn't solve prototype and inheritance in this video, we are going to solve that in other video. Cool. So this is the problem that we have to solve. It is a medium level problem, it's liked by 16,000 people, and it's asked in the lots of companies, so you can find that this is very interesting problem. So in this problem, given an array string, group the anagrams together. So what is this anagram? Okay, so you can return the answer in it. An anagram is a word or phrase formed by the rearranging the letter of a different word or phrase, typically using all the original letter. Okay, so let me tell you what does it mean. Okay, see here, eat and tea. So I have eat and T. Oh, like if I rearrange T, so it will be same as eat, है ना? It will be same as eat. Cool. So similar kind of problem we have solved in this string. If you can remember, we solved a problem known as valid palindrome, valid anagram. If you have already completed all the practice portion, so you already know how to solve this. है ना? So that was the easy level question, because in that case I have to just check if the two string are anagrams or not. But here I have to group all the anagrams. So we are going to use the same method. How we check two uh, two string are anagrams or not? Simply by sorting them. So if I sort this in ascending or descending, whatever order, let's say ascending order, so A, E, T, and if I sort this, it will also become A, E, T. If after sorting both of the string are same, that means they are anagrams. If after sorting they are not equal, that means they are not anagrams. We find this. This is very simple. Now the question is how you will um, group them together. Okay, how you will group them together. So this is very simple question. You can see like it is a medium level, but if you are good in JavaScript, good in object, it is very easy level problem. So what you have to do, let's create an object. Let's create an object and sort this. So after sorting, make this a key. So AET is a key which will store the array of all the anagrams. So AET, this is the sorted of which? Eat. So I will store eat here. T, I will store the T here. This 10. So this is 10. So its sorted value will be A and T. Okay. So this is A and T. So A and T value will be 10. ATE value will be 80. So that will be add here. That will be added here. Net. So net value will be net. It's also A and T. So it will be added here. BAT will be ABT and its value will be BAT. Then we have, okay, this is what we have. So if I make it, so this will be my answer. Okay, now this is the object where I store while iterating. Now if I have to return the object, I can simply store all the values. And there is one method to store all the values, if you know. Okay, so let's solve it. Which method I am talking about? Let me know in the chat. What is the method of storing all the values? So what we are planning to do, I'm planning to make let's say object. Okay, you should use a like good object name, but I'm writing anything यहाँ पे anagram, and let's create the object. Now I will say for let object value, right? Make I less than str dot length. Now from here first of all I will take the string and I have to sort. How to sort an string? There is no sorting method for string, sorting method for array. So what we will do, we will convert our array, we will convert our string. This is our string I will split it. So if we split it, it will become a character array. We will sort this character array, become a character array, sorted character array. Now find this, we will join this. Okay, so this is the sorted, this is how we sort the string. Now what we have to do, we will say if um if our anagrams dot has on property, like if we have to check if they have the key or not. Okay, str If you don't have something like that, so what you have to do, anagrams, create an empty object, empty array. Okay. So now what we have to do here, we can say anagrams and strs is equals to, because this str is the sorted array. So what we are planning to do, from this str, I will say str I have to store the unsorted array. Cool, unsorted string. Now finally, let me just console log. But before console log, let me just return anagrams. Okay, so without doing this method, let's say if you don't understand if you don't remember the values method, so in that case, what you will do, you will use a, you will create a result which will an empty object, and you will say for let key in anagrams, and finally you will say result dot push anagrams key, and finally you will return the result. Let me just check if there is no error from my side. Um, okay, where's the error? Okay, so that is not str. It will be like str dot I. Like, what I have to do? I have to add it. I have to add it. Str, whatever the anagrams str, add that. And this is not str. It is string. Cool. Yeah. Let me just test it again. If it's working fine. Um, okay, so here it should be. What's the error? Let's just console.log. It's the str. We have created the sorted. So let's just find out it's sorted or not. Okay, console.log str and str I run. Let's console it. Okay, so 80 and 80. So that means it's getting okay. Okay, so that could be here. It could be now. It should work. Now it should work. If it is not there, then you have to make it empty. No, if it is already there, then how you will do that? Cool. So let's try to run it, and it should work perfectly fine. There was background noise, so no problem. Let me show you. Did you understand this? If not, let me just revise it. So here, if you see what we are trying to do. So first of all, we are storing an empty object, and then we are iterating through all this. This is the array. This is the str with strings, which is an array of string. So first of all, we find this str1. This is the str1 eat. We split it. So what this split methods do? So if we have eat, if we have this eat, this split will convert this to an array of e, a, and t. Okay, this is what split will do. Then the sort will sort it to a, e, t. This is how it will sort. Now this join method will return and we will return aet. Okay, so this is how we sort. Okay, this is split. This is joint method. Cool. So we got the aet. So we will see in this object has this key. No, there is no key. So we will store aet with an empty object. Empty object. and then finally in this empty object we push this EAT, we push EAT here. Similarly we do as we have already explained, and finally we return the result. Now rather than doing this, what we can do, we can return the anagrams. Rather than returning that, we can return anagrams dot values. Okay, um, anagrams, and I think I write it wrong. It should be object dot values, and here I have to write the anagrams. Any doubt? Any doubt? If you have any doubt, just let me know in any of the whatever we have covered as of now. This is the medium level question which asked by lots of companies, and we have solved it right now. So if you have any doubt, just let me know. We have discussed a lot about object. We have discussed how to copy it, and we discussed about how to create. So let's discuss. If you have just 5 minutes, we can discuss this prototype thing as well. So here, let's discuss the prototypes and inheritance. Okay, prototypes and inheritance in JavaScript object. So let's say I have the object. Let's say I have the object one, which is which have some values. Let's say name. Let's say my name is Vishal. Okay, and then I create another object, const objects two, and that has some values. Let's say my age. My age is 21. Cool. That is let me show you. The extension which used for companies is lead code premium unlocker. Okay. See, now what is this prototype? So first of all, understand what is this prototype. So if I do object one dot. So how this method come? How this assign method and how this is like this so called methods come here. Okay. So if I do object, similarly, if I do object dot, we didn't created this object. Okay, we didn't create this method. So these are the method which is already created by the JavaScript. Similarly, if you see the for array dot length, okay, map, filter, reduce, this method is already created by the JavaScript. So this prototype is nothing, just a simple object which contains some properties, some methods like properties like length, okay, methods like map, filter, reduce, and this object, prototype object, will attach to our original object. Okay, so it's not only attached to the object, it's attached to the array functions too. So if you write anything, like if you do for arrays too, so this is what basically prototype is. Now if I talk about the inheritance, if I talk about the inheritance means there will be some properties or method that you can inherit from your parents. So for now, if you see, we have the objects too. So if I just console.log and make my objects2 dot age, I can easily find. Okay, I can easily find. And in this objects2, let me show with the help of. Let's go here and let's create a console. So like so that you can understand easily. Cool. Let's move this. Now here, if I want to create const object one, which will be have a name with value Vishal. Cool. And if I press enter, if I write object one, so here if you notice this have the Vishal, cool. But if I open it, you see something like prototype, and that is also of type object. है ना? Now if I open it, you see there are lots of methods like constructor, has on property to check key. Okay, and if I go to click on this constructor, you can see assign, create, and like lots of method here. Entries, freeze, is frozen, is sealed, keys. So these are the inbuilt functions, inbuilt method which is stored in this prototype object, which is attached to this object. That's why we can access any method. Okay, we can say object dot any method. Okay, assign, create, entry, freeze, we can use this because it is already created in this. Now this is what known as prototype, which are in like which is already created, but we can also create few prototypes. Okay, that if you see my polyfill video, in that we create the polyfill using array dot prototypes dot my function. Okay, any random function, so we can do here as well. Okay, so if I do array um sorry array dot prototype, if I do array dot prototype wait prototype and press enter, so you can see here there are already like concat and lots of other methods. Okay, but you can create your own methods too. Wait, you can create your own methods too. So if you want to create your own method, so let me say object dot prototype dot what I'm going to create xyz method. Okay, I'm going to create xyz method, and this method what it will do, it will say random. Cool. So this is the method that I have created. So if you create any const object, object dot one, we already have object one now. So now if I do object dot one, x y z, see. So if you create now, because we have created this x y z object on the object prototype. Now if you create any object on that object, this method will be there. This method will be there. So this is what prototype is. And if I talk about the inheritance, so here if you see, let's say you want to inherit all the method and the properties of object one. So what you can do, you can write here underscore underscore proto underscore underscore and write object one. Okay. Now if I let me just comment it for. If I write here object to dot name, it's undefined. But if I want to get if value is not there, so it should find from the parents. So if I do this, now see, although object2 does not have the name property, but it will asking from this. Okay, this is what inheritance is. Okay, I hope like you all understand about the prototype, inheritance, clone, and solving few questions. I will share few practice questions that you can find on the repo, and make sure to start the repo and start solving and practice more and more questions. So this is it for this video, and I will see you next time.